a lecturer in Kibabi University in Human Resource Management from the School of Business and Economics. My department is Business Administration and Management. I've been in this field for quite some time, both in administration and in teaching. Started working as an admin assistant in Masinde Mbiro University of Science and Technology back in 2003. I rose into the ranks up to the level of assistant registrar, and then I switched to teaching. So the teaching I started in 2013, and here I am so passionate about what I do. And that's why I thought it wise for us to share some that could be affecting our field currently as we engage with each other, because of us. I believe that is something that you're going to learn from me, and there are a lot of things that I'm going to learn from you. So kindly, as I present this, my humble request is that you note down the enrichments that we need to have, and maybe the questions that we may need to also discuss in this session, so that after the session, we come out all of us richer. So the topic today is employee well-being in organizations. Then I have the moderator, kindly mute those. Now, our table of contents today, we are going to look at the definition of employee well-being. Then under the definition, we are going to specifically look at employee well-being at work and employee well-being versus engagement. And when you're talking about employees here, want to look at us at the workplace, the people aspect. We go back to human resource management. When you're talking about human resource management within organizations, we are talking about the people aspect in the organizations, and we want to impress, or we want to talk about how important they are, how they're the most important asset that an organization can have. And therefore we expect, or we require that these employers, that these organizations put in much effort in trying to look at their well-being when they're at the workplace. So 1.21, we look at employee well-being at large, and then employee engagement. You know, all these two terminologies, do they mean the same thing, or do they mean different things? And how can both terminologies be merged so that we take care of the staff or employees at our workplaces? Then under the table of contents 2, we look at the importance of employee well-being. You know, gone are the days where people in organizations need to be taken as machines. Here, you know, we have to consider the human relations aspect within the workplace. You know, how this person that we expect to give us, or to give us this particular service, how well are we meeting their needs within the organization? And this person will also appreciate the fact that when they join our organization, in as much as we are having the organizational objectives in which they are supposed to agree with, but we also appreciate the fact that they have their own individual objectives, you know, why they have joined this organization, and is it possible for us to provide for an environment in which they are able to merge their individual objectives with the greater organizational objectives? Because it's always asked that if an employee joins an organization, their individual objectives are always subordinate to the greater organizational objective. So what is it that we are doing so that at least we get this employee to feel important and to feel valued within the organization? Then 3, we look at the specific benefits, you know, to the organization. When we look at this aspect of employee well-being, what benefits will these organizations get? Then 4, we look at the key domains of employee well-being. And then 5, we look at improving employee well-being within organizations. And then 6, Hello?
Yes, you can proceed.
Maybe the host can be on standby to mute people.
Okay. But are you able to hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. So under table of contents number 6, we look at well-being and remote working. Most organizations have allowed employees to work from home. Are they following to see whether these staffs are working effectively or not? What happens to those who are able to work without having a break? Is it affecting their productivity levels or not? And then 7, we look at the support of well-being programs in an organization, as in what organizations can do to support these well-being programs so that they're also able to be productive enough. So we go to the definition here. From my own research and from my own understanding, well-being is essentially about how someone feels about the various aspects of their life. And here we're talking about life because we spend most of our time, most of the time at the workplaces. We're having our homes. Some of us have several homes. You have a home maybe back at home, you know, in your village, and then you have another home in town. And because you moved from one organization to another, or because you are redeployed, you have another home again. But you find that most of us spend a lot of time at the workplace. And the normal working time for most of us is from 8 to 5. So when you are not comfortable at the workplace, it will bring a negative ripple effect on your productivity. So well-being is about how you feel about your home life, about your health, about the relationships that you have with others. And I'm starting with home life because if you are uncomfortable at home, it's going to have an effect at how you're going to perform your work at the workplace. Like if you are unwell, it's also going to affect how you're going to perform that particular job that you're doing. If you do not have good relationships, or if you're not relating well with the colleagues at work, it's going to have an effect, and it's going to be a negative effect at your productivity. And if you also do not understand the job that you are doing, sometimes we find ourselves in some funny situation. You are employed, but now you're placed in a position that you feel like you really do not have the requisite competencies to hold that particular position. So it becomes again a negative issue on you as a person, because in most cases when people come or when you are given some assignment to do, you'll have to develop this particular defense mechanism. And when you develop the defense mechanism, it's going to affect that particular job negatively. Well-being is also about whether you feel well or happy. Someone may say feeling well or happy is relative. You see, how, what makes me happy is not what makes you happy. But we want to look at the bottom, at the common happiness, at the common level at which all of us are able to say that indeed we are content with what we are doing. So when you're looking at employee well-being, you as a supervisor, you as an employee, you as an employer, all these things will determine whether the employees within your organization are going to meet those particular targets that you set for them or not. Sometimes, we say that many people in Kenya are looking for jobs. We do not have enough jobs. So if you joke around, I'm going to sack you, I'm going to get in another person. You see, when you look at the level, at the cost of getting in a new employee in your organization and the cost of retaining the employee that is already within your organization, you see, you'll find that it's more expensive to bring in a new employee in comparison to retaining the one that you already have. Because you realize that the one that you already have their problem may not even be a salary increment. Their problem may only just be maybe provision of a good or a health working environment for them so that they're able to function in those positions. So when talking about employee well-being, You have to think about it as the way employees' duties, expectations, stress levels, and working environments affect their overall health and happiness. I know most of you are heads of department. And even if you're not a head of department, if you've been keen enough, you have experienced all these, how do you feel about the duties that you're assigned on daily basis? Do you love doing what you do? Or do you think you're just doing it because of the loans that you have picked? So you only appear to work because you're servicing the loans. You already lost that particular passion. What expectations do you have in this particular job that you're holding? In most cases, most of us always expect to grow. Career growth is the prayer of every employee in any organization. And career growth also comes in with other aspects. Like I have to look at the next level. Now I'm a senior lecturer. What will I need to do before I am promoted to the position of associate professor? So you look at those particular requirements and you learn to work towards attainment of those particular requirements. But as we are doing this, it doesn't mean that now we leave the job that we are supposed to be doing now and just work towards that particular promotion. We need to be intentional, we need to be relevant in the positions that we are holding, and we need to add value to this particular organization that we are working for. Then the stress levels. Stress levels are also relative. Some of us, when traveling to work in the morning, a puncture can bring you a lot of stress. Some of us, that particular rider that you're using, as a mode of transport to your place of work can bring you a lot of stress. Some of us lacking bus fare, fuel is skyrocketing on daily basis. It can bring a lot of stress. Some of us, because of an unfinished assignment that I was given yesterday, and this is a new day, we are acting like the CBC children, the teacher gave you some assignment and you are unable to complete it. So when you are going to work, you're imagining, what is this supervisor going to do to me today? So it already raises your stress levels. And then the working environment, how comfortable is your office? How comfortable is the location of the organization in which you're working in? Security-wise, are you working in an insecure environment? Is your office close to a toilet? There's a lot of stench coming from the urinal or maybe from the toilet. Is it comfortable? Do you have enough air circulation in your office? Is your chair comfortable enough for you to be able to work? Is your relationship with the colleagues in the office good enough to allow you to consult when you're stuck with some assignment or not? So as we go on, we're going to discover what else that you're supposed to be. So when you look at employee well-being at work, this one, in a nutshell, we are relating to all the aspects of working life, including the environment that we're working in. And here we're looking at the social environment, we're looking at the physical environment, and sometimes, when you're looking at the social environment, how do you relate? As an employee, you are the first customer to your employer. Organizations have different types of customers. You are the service provider. So as a service provider, you need to be regarded as the first and the most important asset to that particular organization. So if the employer knows that you are the most important asset, then they have to ensure that you're working in a secure environment. And even the terms and conditions of service for that particular appointment letter of yours will determine how you're going to be comfortable with that job. Most of us who are on permanent and pensionable, sometimes we take a backseat, we relax. We know we are here to stay for as long as we do not do anything contrary to what is expected of us. But some of us are on contract. And when you're on contract, sometimes, it's like your future is hanging in the balance. It's not known on where you're going to go. So sometimes you feel so insecure. And if it's a contract of like 5 years, you may only work well for the first 2 years. And the next 3 years, you are searching for another job because you're already anticipating maybe your contract may not be renewed, or maybe this is not the best working place that I'd want to settle in for another 5 years, and so forth and so forth. The climate in the workplace is also something else. There was a time, there are places that have some hostile, temperatures. I was in Lodwa 2 weeks ago. When you get into a room that doesn't have the AC, you may not function. Now, you can go to some places that are too cold. I can imagine those who are working in a place like Limuru, or sometimes just in Eldoret or Nairobi. You know, it can become extremely cold. And some of us, because of our health status, these extreme temperatures may affect the way we work at our places of work. Then well-being is a key factor determining an organization's long-term success. Why? Because you have invested in you have to invest in the employees within the organization. At the moment you have regarded them as the most important asset, then it means that their well-being is your business in that particular organization. The well-being of your employees is your business. Why? Because you're looking at increased profits, you're looking at growth of your organization, you're looking at expansion of your organization, you're looking at competition. You want to be the best. And if you want to be the best, and then you recognize that the employees are the most important asset and that they are first customers, then their well-being is going to be your business as an employer. Then employee well-being is about understanding your employees from a holistic perspective, which can only be achieved within organizations that are employee-centric. I know some organizations are machine-centric, you know, they don't care about how the service providers feel like. And most organizations are replacing the people aspect with the machines. So they tend to ignore the employee, the people aspect of it. But here we still want to insist that even if you have those machines, that even if you have embraced technology and you have bought those particular software that installed and replaced people with them, those people that are remaining, that are still working for you, kindly try to look at them from a holistic perspective. They're human beings and their needs should be met. And when their needs are met, it's for your good, for the betterment of the organization. So when people are in a state of well-being at work, they're able to develop their potential. You know, I know that my employer believes in me. I know that my employer values me. So what will stop me from working my best so that my best potential comes out? What will make me from not being innovative in that particular organization? What will make me to stop from, you know, wasting a lot of what we call maybe a lot of items, or maybe the paper, or maybe the electricity that I'm using? What will stop me from not being, you know, wasteful in terms of how I take care of the equipment, the working equipment that the organization has provided for me? So I will be creative, I'll be more productive, and I'll also build positive relationships because I know that my employer values me. They take care of my needs. When I say that I'm sick, they give me an off, or there's a medical cover. When I say that this assignment is difficult, I'm able to consult with my colleague regardless of their cadre. You know, there are things that sometimes you can be given an assignment where you are able, either you're consulting downwards from somebody who holds lower qualifications than you, or you are supposed to consult horizontally, or sometimes you're supposed to consult upward. So it depends. When you have such like relationships, you know, it will make you to be more productive and be comfortable working in such like an organization. Some of us, when employees arrive, you know, we are heads of departments. When they arrive in the morning, we don't even greet them. And when you're asked why, you know, when they start complaining that you're bad, you're the first one to start saying that in the job description, it's not written anywhere that I should be greeting people before we start working. You see, it's up to you as the head of department to be the role model. You have to be the role model of these particular staffs that you are supervising, the staff that are under your span of control, so that now they're also able to be autonomous, they're also able to make meaningful contributions, and they're able to make your work easier as a supervisor. So 1.2, we look at employee well-being versus engagement. Now, employee well-being involves several categories of wellness. And these ones, it's either you're looking at the physical health of these people. Are they fine? Have they said anything about their health to you? Or you are too hostile, you know, they can't come close to you. You're also looking at emotional health. And emotional health has been a challenge to us as employees. Sometimes when you are female and you have a male supervisor, it becomes very difficult for you to go and share with them what you're going through. But again, the ladies sometimes will also take advantage. We want to use that as an advantage to hit on our bosses. And when our bosses say no, we start saying that, you cannot fight with a female. I'm going to win this case. Or, you wanted to brush on me the negative way, and that is it. But here we just want to look at an ideal situation where even if you're my male supervisor, you are able, when I share with you, you're able to look at me and know whether I am in a good state to perform those duties that you are assigning to me that day or not. Psychological well-being. Currently, there's inflation. And COVID came with a lot of problems to us. There's a lot of anxiety among staff. And what these staffs are requiring from us, who are the heads of departments or who are senior in rank, is that assurance that everything is going to be okay. So somebody comes from home, they have not even had breakfast. They are having their own other issues. And when they arrive in the office, they're trying to fix a cup of tea. You start making noise at them saying that, you have salaries you shouldn't be relying on office tea all the time. Social relationships are important. I know most of us say that we say that we've gone to work, we are not going to make relationships. We like it or not, we spend a lot of time at the place of work. So that colleague of ours, just like you cannot choose a neighbor back at home when you're buying land, or maybe, back at home in the village or when you're buying land, the same thing happens at the place of work. You cannot choose the person that you want to work with. It's your qualifications that will make you people come together. In fact, you'll find yourself in the same office. So what happens that you're supposed to be working on a daily basis? You just have to find a working formula. Financial stability. Some of us, we have committed our pay slips in such a way that when it comes to end month, we are only paying those bills that are relevant. And then after we pay those bills, we become damn broke. So I eat not for these mobile loans and some good friends that we hang around, friends with benefits, we wouldn't even be surviving. Sometimes you find it's 5th of the month, you earned on 1st or maybe 31st of the previous month, and you don't have any money. You are not able to go to work. It becomes difficult for you to even ask money from your colleague, because now they'll say, how come you're wearing an expensive suit and yet you're not able to do what? To afford fare to your place of work. So all this comprise the employee well-being, and I'm sure that all of us can relate with what I'm trying to talk about. Then employee engagement. Employee engagement here refers to the emotional commitment that the employee has to the organization and its goals. And this employee engagement means, when I have these particular qualifications, have they been matched with the job designation and the job description of what I'm supposed to do in that particular organization or not? Because if I have a challenge with my qualifications and the job description, and then we are going to have a hitch there, I'm not going to be able to perform those duties as highlighted in that particular job designation effectively. So employee engagement has proven to reduce staff turnover, the rate at which staff leave an organization and come inside the organization. You are leaving because of greener pastures. Sometimes there's natural attrition. Sometimes because of the complexity of the assignment of the position that you are holding within the organization, you may find a staff engaging into alcoholism or absenteeism, and such like things now lead somebody into maybe you are booked for you are processed for disciplinary, and sometimes you may not even continue working with that organization. Employee engagement also improves productivity and efficiency, because if I'm competent in what I'm doing, if I understand my assignment, I will do it effectively. I'll be sure, I'll be confident in what I'm doing. And even if I am put at that particular customer care desk, and I have all the answers within the organization, to give to the customers that will be coming to that organization to inquire about one thing or the other, I'll be a confident employee, and I will give those answers with the confidence that is required, and because with the precision that is required, because I'm sure that the answers that I'm giving to these clients are accurate answers. Employee engagement also increases employee retention. Why? If I know that my skills have been matched with what I do. And if I know that from time to time again, there can arise job enlargement, job enrichment, you see, the job activities that I normally engage in, can be increased depending on what I am doing at that particular organization. And if I know that in as much as I may have been given a challenging assignment, I'll still be able to consult my colleague and they'll still give me that answer without making a lot of noise about it. My commitment, my morale will be boosted, and I'll stay with the organization for a longer time. Employee engagement is also known to deliver higher profits. I don't need to belabor explaining that. It also boosts business connectivity and performance, and it reduces absenteeism. Some of us, normally we are absent because of the complex assignments that we have been given, and we are not able to explain or to carry them out. So we absent ourselves from the place of work so that somebody else is given that assignment, so that by the time I come back, it will have already been done. So what is the importance of employee well-being? One, it improves team focus. Most organizations currently, despite the onset of COVID and the COVID protocol saying that, you see, we have to keep a distance, we have to keep from home, the same organizations have embraced technology. And even as we use this technology, we are still able to work in teams as we use our different gadgets. So it has improved team focus, because if I believe in myself, if I trust that my employer values me and my colleague also does the same, then we have a good working relationship. Then when we work on an assignment, we'll build those synergies and complete that assignment in record time. It also reduces stress. We have different types of stress, work-related stress. Here it's reduced because my skills are matched with what I do. So what do I have to complain? I'm not worried about anything. Then increased job satisfaction. I'm satisfied as an employee. My morale is up. My commitment is up. I don't appear on job on daily basis. The first thing I do is to start searching for jobs. No, I have to attend to the assignments that is ahead of me. Then we also have a positivity among employees. You are proud of where you work. Like I'm proud to say that I work in Kibabi University. Yeah. Some of us don't even want to tell our colleagues when we meet where they work because they are ashamed. I don't know why somebody decides to be ashamed. It's because they are not valued. So they are annoyed with that particular organization. It also leads to improved general well-being, of a person. And you see, a person that is within the organization, if my well-being is okay, is improved, and my colleagues' well-being is also improved, then it will lead to the general organizational well-being. Then the specific benefits to the organization. Here, it's a prayer of every organization that it grows, that it competes favorably, and it becomes the best in the business that they are engaged in, that they have higher profits, that they grow. So if they invest in employee well-being, if they take it as the most important thing that they can do to their employees, then they'll realize higher performance levels. There'll also be improved productivity. Then there'll be lower employee turnover. Most of them now will be retained, will decide to work for the organization for a longer period of time. And also it will attract top talent. All of us will always want to work with a winning organization. If you asked us, where do you want to work? You'll always want to look at that particular organization that is ranking highly, and that's where you want to go and do what? And work. You also the organization will also be seen as a fantastic place to work. And here, when organizations are listing the types of risks that they are exposed to, most of them always list reputational risk. But here now you see, because of the well-being program, your reputation is now very positive to the rest of the world. In fact, you're going to attract as many people as possible. You're going to attract other organizations to come and benchmark with activities within your organization. Then we move to the key domains of employee well-being. Here, it's important for us to know that there's no size that fits all. We are working in different organizations. I'm working in an institution of higher learning, a service providing organization. Somebody could be working in a sugar industry. Another one could be working in a county government, and so forth and so forth. So while designing a well-being strategy, its content should be based on the unique needs and characteristics of the organization. You need to carry out, you need to understand where your organization is and where you want it to go, So here, your strategic plan of the organization will guide on the type of the well-being programs that you can implement within your organization. So here we're giving, in as much as there's no size that fits all, we're giving 7 key domains, and this one borrowed from Oak Engage. Number 1 is health, Number 2 is good work. Number 3 is values. Most of us, we work in an organization where they provide medical cover. When you're talking about health, it's about us as people within as individuals and how the organization is taking care of us, and also provision of a healthy working environment. Then we have the good work. What is good work? It also varies from organization to organization. Targets have been set, assignments have been listed, and for every job designation, you have been told what you're supposed to be doing, your deliverables by the end of the day or by the end of the week or on monthly basis. Every organization has its core values. So when you're laying down the employee well-being strategy, look at the core values of the organization and let them be in line with what you want to do in the well-being programs. Then we look at the social aspect, the personal growth. We cannot lie about this, Every employee, just as the organization expects that it has to grow, employees also want to grow in those professions. And that's why their personal growth is important when you're also trying to put down the well-being strategies. Good lifestyle choices. How often do you have meetings with the employees within your organization and advise them on lifestyle choices? Yeah. How many times have you invited a speaker from outside the organization to enrich or to give the employees information about their lifestyle choices? And then financial well-being is a must, because we go to work to get money. Nobody should lie to us. The main agenda that makes us to go work is look for money. Why? Because we have to make a living. The other things now follow, but money is the most important thing. And even if we go to work on voluntary basis, we are also going to earn there an experience so that it helps us to secure a job somewhere so that we are able to be paid. I think that one we can discuss it later. So I've been talking about this, and then when you're talking about those particular well-being strategies, health, health checks, well-being benefits, how often do you invite people from that nearby referral hospital to just come and check, maybe the health status of these staffs? I'm not saying that now we say that today even the HIV test, there's no problem. Maybe the blood pressure of these particular staffs, maybe the sugar levels, health insurance protection, if it expired, most organizations, because it's a new financial year is starting, most organizations, their medical cover insurance has expired. What are you doing that? How are you managing disabilities? Do you have ramps at the place of work on the buildings? How do you take care of these people who are able differently? Occupational health support, employee assistance programs, and so forth. Then here we also look at the mental health. We should not just be looking at people and calling them alcoholics, or we call them addicts. No. What we are supposed to be doing, are we able to look at the root cause? Why is this employee in the state in which they are in? They may have come to the organization in a very, in a holistic, in a healthy state. But now, after 2 or 3 years, they start acquiring some other habits that they've not been having. It's our business, it's your business as the head of department or as the employer to look at the stress management level, the stress management, the stress levels amongst your staffs. And this one, you can carry out a survey just to gauge the stress levels of the employees. When you find that it's above a specific percentage, and then you can bring in programs that at least you can be engaging these particular employees so that the stress levels reduces, because in the end, it's going to affect the production levels negatively. Conflict resolution trainings, yes. We come from all walks of life going to work. And some of us, we say that we are very, temperamental. Some of us, we are so gullible, you can just walk on us. And some of us, we don't know exactly what we have. And because of the issues that we may be having, maybe we are carrying them away from work, maybe from home, then we come to project on people at the place of work. You are bleeding on the people that did not hurt you. So it becomes, again, another issue. And if it's not controlled, it's going to lead to a mental health problem. So what conflict resolution mechanisms do you have at the place of work? And are we training our line managers, to have these difficult conversations at the place of work? You say it's not my business for me to listen to this person. Ye mwenyewe kikuja kama amekasirika, hiyo ni shida zake. Ye mwenyewe kama anageuza mabwana ama mabibi kila siku, that is their problem. By the way, it's not their problem. As a head of department, it becomes a problem, because what an employee is going through, it is going to affect how they are going to work. And remember, their productivity level is the main business that you have. And if it's the main business you have, then you have to look at the source. Who is this that is making us not to meet the target that we had set? And then we also have the risk assessment at our places of work. Good work here, we are looking at working environment, ergonomically designed working areas. How is the working equipment like? Those chairs that you sit on, those tables, are they designed to favor you? Do you sit for a long time? Do you stand for a long time? We also here under working environment has an open and inclusive culture, and we like it or not, the leader of the organization is the one who determines the type of culture that exists in that particular organization. So it's up to you to know which one you want to exist at your place of work. Then good management here, management, we always talk about planning, organizing, effective people management policies. It's these people that are going to make the organization to succeed or to fail. So do you have the people management policies? And as you are developing these policies, did you involve them in the development of the policies? Or they are seeing them for the first time on the website and they never contributed in any way? Stakeholder participation is key here. Then training of line managers, and then sickness and absence management. I think most of these are captured in the CBS, or the terms and conditions, or the CBS of most organizations that are unionizable, that the staff are unionizable. And then the work demands, the job roles, do they demand that you travel a lot? Is it bringing a problem to this particular employee? Because most employees who are married, sometimes their spouses always complain about them traveling. In as much as they are being paid some money, but they'll always think that this person is not just traveling, regardless of the gender. So when you realize that that is the problem that this particular employee is having, are you able to sit down with them and discuss the way forward so that now you have a working formula? They do not lose on their development, on their professional growth, and they do not also lose on their family. Then the job quality, then the workload. In some of our organizations, we have people with high skills with very little work to do. You just have that position, but you are dissatisfied because you feel you are being underutilized. And again, alternatively, we have people who have a lot of work that they're supposed to be doing in any given day. Are we able to work on this? Then we have issues on job satisfaction, the working hours, work-life balance. Working hours come in when organizations allow for you to have overtime payment. Some of us, we just stay around up to around 3 p.m. That's now when we sit down and we start working because we want to earn that particular overtime. So we must have the policies and rules and regulations that guide that. Values and principles here, leadership, you be a role model, value-based leadership. What are the values of the organizations that you're working in? Yeah. As a leader, are you practicing those values as stipulated in the organizational strategic plan or the documentation that exists? Do you even understand the mission and objectives of the organization that you're working in? Yeah. Are you able to build trust within these employees? And leadership is not just about you saying and them doing. No, it's you doing and them copying what you are trying to do. You have to be a role model. You have to lead by example. You have to be charismatic. And then sometimes people bring this argument that, are leaders born or leaders are made? Yeah, it's up to us to know. Leaders are both born and made, because you could be having those leadership attributes, but now schooling makes you to channel them into the correct direction. Then we have the ethical standards, the dignity at work. Do you uphold the high levels of integrity or not? Are you honest? Are you accountable? Then we have the corporate social responsibility. We have the diversity issues, diversity and inclusion. We say that we work from all walks of life. So it's up to you as the head of department to carry out a background check on the employees that are working under you, so that you're able to understand them and that the business, the decisions that you make about them is informed by what you know about them. Then we have the collective and social here. We have employee voice. You have meetings. Do you normally allow them to participate in these meetings? Because sometimes you call for meetings, and as a chair, you speak from the beginning to the end. And you regard any member of that particular meeting, when they say something that is contrary to what you believe in, you start blaming them for fighting you. It's like you do not allow people to express themselves. Is that what you're doing? You could be the one causing the stress in these particular employees. Involvement in decision-making, these meetings that you normally call for, are you just asking employees to come and attend meetings, or do you want a value addition? Yeah. Some of us, we call for meetings and we expect people not to add anything to what we already know. No, long gone are the days where people used to come to meetings to concur. Yeah, I concur. No. Allow people to express themselves. And by the end of the day, as the chair, use the same people to come up with the resolution of the discussion that we've made. Then we have positive relationships here. I also don't need to be labor explaining this. We have the management style, and we have the teamwork, respect, and so forth. Personal growth, I had also explained about this career development. We are in organizations to grow. And what types of appraisals do we have, within organization? How do we measure the performance of the staff that we have? I know most organizations, we are still in the traditional performance appraisal. I know some of you are in the 360, and others. So which one are you using at your place of work? And is it effective? And if it's not effective, are you able to review? Are you able to change it so that it suits what you want? We have issues to do with mentoring. We have issues to do with succession planning. When you are away, are you able to allow somebody else to act in your capacity while you're away? Emotional here, we are still talking about positive relationships, personal resilience, training, and financial well-being. We're also talking about creativity. And then good lifestyle choices here. Do you have, what do we call it, a gym at your place of work or not? Have you enrolled your workers? Have you paid for them the gym fee, monthly gym fee or not? Do you normally allow them to have their own social groupings where they can engage in physical activities or not? Have you provided for these lunchtime yoga or charity walks? Even planting trees is something, it's a physical activity that an organization can be engaging in from time to time. Then healthy eating, do you have the recipe clubs? Have you ever exposed these people to new knowledge? Ama watu kazini kwako wanajua tu sukuma wiki na mboga, sukuma wiki na nyama na ugali, that is the recipe that they know. Have you ever brought someone in to teach them something extra outside their profession so that they also appreciate the type of employer that they're working for? Then financial well-being here. Unions have come in to fight for the employees' rights in matters to do with pay. In Kenya, we are lucky, we are guided by SRC, but we find that some organizations are underpaying their employees. They're not paying as per the SRC regulations. So fair pay and benefits policies, pay rates above the statutory national minimum wage, flexible benefits. Are you paying something more than what has been decided upon by the SRC or not? Or are you paying them lower? What else are you doing to them so that now they're able to take care of their needs? Okay, I know the country at large is going through a hard time in matters to do with finances. But again, you see, if you've been paying someone car allowance of 12,000 per month, is that fuel enough now to take them to work on daily basis at 160 per liter currently? So what policies do you want to put in place to help these employees to be at work on time and without being stressed? Yeah. Do you have company vehicles? Can these company vehicles be ferrying workers to and from their places, common places, or something like that? Then we have retirement planning. We have colleagues, they have reached retirement age, but they don't know where to go because they think that when they retire, they're going to die. Have you organized for some trainings so that they're informed in advance, they're prepared in advance on what is expected of them? And truthfully speaking, all of us are going to retire. There's something that is done on our bodies effortlessly. That is getting old, growing old. Some of us, we no longer talk about our ages because we think that we have grown so old, people start laughing at us. No. Are we able to plan for our old age or not? Then improving employee well-being in organizations. How do we do this? Communication is key. How do you normally share information? Which channels of communication have been approved? Do you have a communications policy? Which channels have been approved? You know, some of us, okay, on the onset of COVID, we decided that we're going to communicate through WhatsApp groups, our WhatsApp walls, we're going to communicate through emails, but still it's not been written somewhere and signed that this is the official channel of communication. Email are good, WhatsApp groups are good, but we also suffer what we call information overload. You know, I can have lots of emails, I may not read, and I may miss on an important activity within the organization. Is it possible you come up with some software, something that can be giving an alert? Kama zile zenye watu unapata kwa bank kama pesa imeingia, inakupatia ding, you know now I have money. Can you also be doing the same to our employees so that they do not miss on the important aspect? Because when they miss on it, and they come to us, we'll just be complaining. Yeah, some of you are not keen. You have this email, we have provided for you the internet, and you're not doing ABCD, but you're failing to understand that they are also suffering from information overload. Now, you have to utilize surveys and posts to create digital surveys for your employees to fill out and gauge how people feel. And the survey questions may include, are you in a comfortable working environment? Is your workload manageable? Are you content with where you are in your career or not? Do you have a good work-life balance? Is there anything we can do to help you? Okay, we are not saying that now the employer should take up all this, because even as human beings, we are very complicated and our needs vary from time to time. But can we have a bottom line? Something that can work for each and every employee. And from there, now we communicate to these employees and tell them, now this is the bare minimum, you know, that you can go, or this is what we are giving as an organization, and the rest you're supposed to do it yourself. Another way in which we should be able to improve employee well-being is giving recognition. You have given me an assignment, I've completed, I've given it to you. Do you normally give me feedback? Even if it's negative. First of all, start by appreciating what I've given you, then point out the negativity. But now, depending on your leadership style, you know, if you decide to be a dictator, how are people going to give you feedback? You know, you may never give someone feedback and they may never improve because they do not know where they are deficient. So it has to be a vital part of a company's culture that you give recognition where it is deserved. And in today's work environment, the companies with the most satisfied and engaged employees are the ones that have the best training programs and well-skilled staff. So always ensure that you fill up, give the staff what you think, what you know they do not have. And this one, when it comes to matters training, don't just carry out a training. First of all, establish the training needs before you embark on training these people. So this will create a positive working environment, which will in turn boost morale and improve employee well-being. Then you also have to introduce flexible working hours. COVID came in, the government gave the COVID protocol, you know, to keep distance, work from home, wear masks, you know. Consider offering the flexible working environment so that your employees can fit their jobs around their needs. And this one can only work if an employee is content with what they're doing, if an employee is responsible, if an employee is competent in what they're doing. And this could include flexible start and finish times, or encouraging employees to take more frequent breaks. You see now, when you allow employees to work on and on, when their time for leave comes, you're not allowing them to go on leave, they experience what we call burnout. And with the experience burnout, productivity goes down, and that one becomes a problem to the organization. Also encourage personal development. That particular cleaner in your office, that particular T-girl, T-boy, have you ever ascertained the type of qualification that they have? Have you ever decided to advise them to go back to school and acquire some of these papers or not? You know, we should not just be content by allowing people to stay in their comfort zones and just being called a T-girl. We have seen people have grown from being T-girls to being the MD, managing directors of organizations. And in this life, we live to leave a legacy. What type of legacy are we going to leave? You know, can we impact on these people? That child of your neighbor, you know, that cousin of yours. You know, sometimes you may say that you may not want to engage yourself in other people's business. What tunasema, wacha nijikondeshe na yangu, let me be thinned by mine. But that is also another problem with selfishness. Are we able to share? Have you put your lamp on the table? Now we go to the Bible. Have you put your lamp on the table? Are people tapping on the light that you have, or you've hidden it under the table? So encourage personal development in an organization, and you're going to boost that employee well-being programs, and people are going to be happy with what they're doing. Also boost team relationships. And as you're boosting team relationship, are you a team player yourself? Are you charismatic? Are you providing for this information to these particular employees or not? Are you in a position? Do you have the skills? Do you have the capacity to also give direction to these people or not? Are you decisive or not? Some of us, we are in management positions, but we are indecisive. You know, it's like we fear making decisions because we think that if I made this decision and it gave wrong results, I'm going to be blamed. No, we learn from what we do. We learn from the mistakes. If we cannot commit mistakes, we can never learn anything. Encourage social interaction. Don't be the one encouraging people saying that, you see, you came here to work and working is your business, do your work and go home. No, let people work and go take coffee. Let people work and go watch football, wa Man U waende waangalie, wa Arsenal waangalie. In fact, you can have a common room at the place of work. Yeah. Allow people to learn to socialize. Human beings are social beings. Wachana na hawa wakusema we are introverts. No, they are hiding in keeping quiet, and they're hiding, you know, they may even be depressed. And as we are saying this, it's not that we are doing this on daily basis. No, just allow people. Ukiwapata wakikuwa kwa bar, hata kama wewe ni boss yao, just because you have gone to that bar, a day which you are feeling philanthropic, wapatie round moja. Na haimaanishi assignment yenye umewapatia watakuleta Jumatatu. No. But again, have that professional distance. Usijiingize kwa club, unaanza kucheza dati, alafu sasa Monday wakikuja wakikuona wanaanza kukuchekelea. No. Have that professional distance, but we are saying we want to encourage you to encourage the employees to be social. Social isolation can trigger depression and anxiety. And while supportive relationships with friends, family, and colleagues are beneficial to the mental health of the individuals, people with good network of friends and family generally have a better mental and physical health. You know, some of us will meet you, we don't know, we'll tell you the problems that we have. What you do with that information, we have no business with it. What we'll have done is we have released ourselves and we are going on. There are others who are very quiet. They have to start getting used to people before they learn to give the information that they have to them. So you have to know how to utilize, you know, how to encourage these social interactions at the place of work, because at the end of the day, it's going to bring in people, it's going to encourage this, the well-being of these employees within the place of work, and the organization is going to benefit. Promote self-care. We have colleagues, by the way, grooming, that you have to be, we're not saying that you have to wear expensive. No, wear hata kama ni mtumba, let them be pressed. Yeah. Brush your teeth, brush your shoes, change your socks. You know, those are the basics. Ladies, stop wearing too tight clothing. You know, most of us are working in traditional organizations that are highly conservative. You know, they want you to wear a different color, you know, knee high. Mambo ya kusema my dress, my choice at the place of work, wachana nayo. Wewe kama kuna dressing code ya kazi, vaa vile wanataka. Ikifika jioni, fika nyumbani, vaa hiyo kinyasa yako, enda tembea. But don't bring temptations to the men of God and women of God at the place of work. Yeah, even men tempt women. If you didn't know this, if you are fond of wearing very tight trousers, your crotch is coming out, you see, you are also tempting these women. You don't know the last time they had sex, you know. So why are you doing that? Kindly just conform to the provisions of the organization about the dress code. Then introduce Workpacks. Keep employees happy while they are working can be tricky. So introducing Workpacks and benefits is a perfect way to ensure that morale is always kept high in the workplace. You know, we are not saying that you have already budgeted for, now where are you going to get this money? No, sometimes there are ways in which you can play around with these particular vote heads. You can buy, just, we're not saying on daily basis. And Workpacks can be very, you know, minimal things, you know, small things. They're small tokens to these people. You know, you can really improve on their morale. This could be anything from team events, like now you call somebody so that now they carry out what we call what? Team building activities, you know, gym membership, exercise classes. You know, if people love playing golf, are you able to take them one day to also, hata wengine hawajui golf inachezwa aje. You should be the organization, you should be the type of leader that introduces the employees to the new things that they have never come across. Mtu asikue tu mshamba, alikuja ni mshamba, atatafuta kazi atoke kwa organization yako kama bado ni mshamba. what will you have gained by the end of the day? Encourage good lifestyle choices by making sure employees are aware of the dangers of sitting long periods of time. That's why we have breaks. They should be walking around. Educate them on how they can keep moving throughout the day. You are also helping prevent illnesses and maintaining a happy and healthy workforce. Also create communities and improve your culture. Hubs bringing like-minded people together through virtual groups where they can collaborate and strengthen bonds and grow together. Then give regular performance reviews. You know, feedback is very important to me and to you. It's important for me to know how I am performing. It will be in vain for you to know to carry out a performance appraisal. In my organization, we still carry out performance appraisal. It will be in vain for me, you carry out a performance appraisal, you rank me as excellent and you don't tell me. It will not add any value to me. So let's learn to give regular performance reviews and also learn to give the feedback. Then implement a company intranet. If you haven't already implemented a company intranet, this is the opportunity to find a software to suit your needs. Intranets can play a highly positive role in supporting health and well-being in several different ways. And intranet teams have an opportunity to consider the active role that the internet plays in protecting and promoting these particular values. Now, lastly, COVID came in and organizations were encouraged to allow employees to work from home. What policy do you have for these employees that are working from home? So working from home can have a serious impact on the well-being. It can affect you in these ways. One, loneliness and isolation. Like some of us who love talking, you know, you find you are alone and you're isolated. It can be detrimental to your health. Two, there's an issue of burnout. Some of you never sleep. Yeah? You never sleep. You have a partner, it's 9:30 p.m. They are waiting for you. Wewe uko bado kwa laptop, wewe bado unafanya kazi. Bibi akikuuliza unasema unajua kama sio kazi hautakula kwa hii nyumba, how are we going to pay rent? How am I going to fuel the car? No. Can we have a good work-life balance? Can we embrace a good work-life balance? Yeah. Time to work and time to stay. Time for family and time to work. And we're not saying that now you leave the work and focus on the social aspect alone. No. So here, when these employees are working from home, these are the two things that are going to suffer. They are going to suffer loneliness and isolation, and they're also going to suffer burnout. So how do you support these people that are working from home? Number one, allow them to establish boundaries between work and personal time. Yeah, just allow them, talk to them about it. Set up regular one-to-one meetings, you know. Once in a while, you see, you need feedback from these people that are working from home. So online meetings will be a good break for them so that now they're able to give their reports on what they have been doing. And while in those meetings, don't keep it too official. Also try to encourage them to take breaks. Encourage them to reflect, set out well-being goals, and check in with your workforce. Sometimes just call them and ask them what they are doing and how far they are, and also ask them to also to rest, because they are human beings by the
Can we ask some question? Are we allowed?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you, Daktari, for a good presentation. In fact, I've learned a lot. It means that learning continue forever. So the first thing, you have talked about employees' wellness. In whose docket is this employees' wellness? For instance, is it in the docket of HR? Is it on the docket of finance manager, or is it in the docket of the CEO? Then the second one, as a scholar, is there a distinction between employees' wellness as far as the young employees is concerned, and also the old employees are concerned? That is among the youths and the old. Then lastly, how can we deal with psychological contract among employees to improve their wellness? Thank you very much, Dr.
Thank you so much. Just a moment, I'm writing. Among employees. Thank you so much. Who was the person who asked the question? Kindly, you didn't introduce yourself.
Dr. Oko, Lukenya University.
Dr. Oko. Thank you, Doc. Can I take another question from another participant before now I respond to the two participants, and then we go on like that? Any other question? Okay, Dr. Oko, now you're asking about whose docket is this employee wellness? Now, employee wellness is about us, me and you, at the place of work. And when I was trying, hello? Hello, are you hearing me?
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm
we can
getting.
hear
Yes,
you.
we are.
Okay. So we have our employer. We have our employer. And then we have the supervisor, my supervisor, your supervisor, and we have the employees. And all these people, all these, you know, the employer, in as much as it's an organization, it has life. And our supervisor is also a person, and I am a person. So what happens? It's now my supervisor to take care of me. And my supervisor could be a line manager. So in as much as employee well-being is under the docket of human resource management, but all the line managers, all the heads of departments, regardless of the section, finance, health, procurement, academic, you see, all those, anyone in charge of people should have this knowledge. Because if you are my supervisor and you don't know how I feel, and you don't think that I'm important to an organization, then definitely you are going to mistreat me, and you are going to cause me leaving that particular organization. Dr. Oko, are we together there?
Yes, proceed.
Okay, thank you. Now, we are also having profs on this wall. What is the distinction between employee wellness among the old and the young? Can I have someone to help me explain this? Because here we came to learn, you know, I share what I have and you share what you have and the best practices. Can we have someone to explain to us how this can be done within the organization? Okay, what are the characteristics of these young employees within the organization? And what type of ages are we talking about? In an organization setup? You know, we can have young employees as young as 20 years and up to 35 years, you know, 20 to 35 years. Let's categorize them as young. And then 35, maybe 35 to 55, let's say that the middle age ones. And then we have the 55 and above as the old ones. So just like we normally organize for our training programs, in as much as we carry out the training needs analysis and we find that there is the same need of this particular training amongst this staff. But again, we go ahead and categorize them in terms of their ages. It's the same thing that we are supposed to be doing about employee well-being within organizations. Because in as much as we are saying that you should introduce some activities organization, invite a facilitator within the organization, activities. There are some activities that we cannot. Moderator, please kindly mute. Okay, now there are some activities that we may not, that the older employees could not engage in because of their age. And sometimes it's not just about age, also the health status. You may find that somebody is young, but because of their health status, they may not engage in some other activities. Therefore, when we are mounting these well-being strategies within the organization, we have to consider the ages of these employees that are working in our organization. Now, something to do with the psychological contract among employees at the places of work. Can we still have someone to talk to us about this? The problem is I'm a teacher and I always want to also listen to my students. So though you are not my students, but I think we can still share. We can still share this. Madam Moderator, is it possible for you to assist me with somebody to explain the psychological contract among employees at the place of work?
Maybe a small input on the same.
Yes, Doc.
Because we are in a learning environment, normally maybe a comment from what you have talked about in whose docket well-being lies. It is true that it lies in all the dockets, but again, it is also good that as far as employees' well-being is concerned, we should cascade it downwards. We start from the top and then we cascade it. Because in some situation, you will find that if a HR manager, his health or his well-being is not taken care of by the top managers, he is likely also to cascade it downward to these other employees. So it is good that all the line managers, all the top managers are enlightened about employees' wellness, so that the organization can move in the same direction. And most probably, there is also an aspect of the young and the old employees. One of the greatest challenge, especially in organization, is to design program or packages to fit these young, energetic, and talented employees that have a problem of retention. And I remember you have mentioned something about greener pastures, and you will realize that young employees have high affinity for greener pastures. So as an organization, we should also be concerned of this new crop of employees and design programs that specifically can suit them and can also attract them to join an organization. Finally, as far as psychological contract is concerned, you are aware that when employees join an organization, they have different expectations. Maybe just a joke to say as a joke that if you are unmarried and you join an organization to get some monetary reward so that you can pay the bride price, and you realize in the course of the working that is not met, that means the psychological contract you have will not be met. So these are some of the psychological contract, the expectation that you have, and you wish that an organization can satisfy them. And some of them are well above the monetary reward. So when organizations certified it well, it will augur well to your mental and psychological wellness, also the physical wellness. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Oko. Thank you for that enriched conversation. Yeah, it's true. But now, Dr. Oko, we sometimes work in organizations where our CEOs have not come across the people management skills. What happens to that? The HR is a person, yes, but they may be lower in rank than the CEO, the managing director. What happens in that case? You know, so it's up to us. You know, the HR will only have mandate to impart knowledge successfully in the people that are under the office of the HR. Yeah. But if you have good training programs within organizations, it has not been a big issue, but you always find resistance. You know, we have an MD and the MD has the final word, the final say in everything. So that anytime you even want to put up some programs, maybe you want to say, if you want to carry out a training, we want to carry out our training, we need to carry out a training needs analysis, we need to care about these particular employees. You know, you look like you are fighting the programs of that particular organization. But all is not lost. It's up to us now to know how to engage with our seniors in as much as they could not be having the knowledge that we have, because we're the ones that are experts in this area. They are experts in other areas. We could also find a platform where we are able to share this information with them so that now when they're cascading the well-being programs to the people under them, it's done more effectively. And as I said, that we have learning organizations. If you have a boss who believes that learning is a continuous activity, and then it may not become a very big challenge to them. Then back on the issue of the psychological contract, you see, I have my own expectations, you have your own expectations. Imagine of an organization that has 2,000 employees and all of them are having their own different expectations. What do organizations do to ensure that these people work towards the same direction? We have the orientation programs, you know, anytime, you know, the socialization. When you join an organization, you are socialized to the organization, you're told about this, about the organization, the vision, the mission, the core values, you see, the philosophy of the organization. And because you are the one that has signed the letter of appointment to that organization, it's up to you as the individual employee to make a decision to ensure that your personal expectations go under for the greater organizational good. Because we are all different, 2,000 of us. It will be chaotic if all of us are allowed to go away with our own expectations. And I also want to believe that the organizational goals, they are never so far much away from what we expect from it. So at least when an organization is meeting our 60%, it's reason enough for us to be content in what we are doing. Because in this world, there is nowhere you are going to get the whole 100%. Thank you so much. Any other question?
Thank you. I can see Dr. Manyasi raising her hand and Oppo A53 raising their hands. Maybe we can start with Dr. Manyasi.
Yeah, thank you so much, Laura Daktari, for that wonderful presentation.
Mm-hmm.
And employee wellness is a critical issue in all organizations, and we are seeing it in almost all organizations that as HR, we need to up our game when it comes to employee wellness.
Mm-hmm.
Now, there's a section you talked about in terms of remote working.
Mm-hmm.
And this is an issue that has picked up in most organizations, and more so during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
We almost all of us were working from home.
Mm-hmm.
So when it comes to us as leaders, ensuring employee wellness when they are working from their homes,
Mm-hmm.
you know, I find it a challenge, a great challenge.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm wondering, as we head into the future,
Mm-hmm.
should remote working be encouraged? You know, should we encourage it? Because we really want to have our employees at a place where we can see them, where we can monitor what they are doing, and where we can actually work together to improve the organization. So in your view, and from the experience that you have, do you think we should encourage remote working in as far as employee wellness is concerned or not? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Janet. What do we think about the future? Because the technology is also taking up our jobs. Most organizations, again, they have these softwares that are doing this work. You know, most of the adverts, you have to submit your application online. They'll have to do the long listing online, and they'll have to do the short listing online. And most of them have gone ahead. They also interview online. And you see, as they're doing this, it's like the HR section, department of that organization is being denied its duties. The machines are taking over. So what are we supposed to do? And you see, the changes that are coming in are inevitable. Like we were just sitting, then one day there was COVID. We never knew it was going to come. So what is the future of HR? I think this is the area that us as the HR professionals are supposed to carry out research and project on what is going to happen in future. Because when you look at remote working, it has its own advantages and disadvantages. And if we find out that the advantages are more than the disadvantages, and then we may ignore the disadvantages and work on more with the advantages that is offering to this particular organization. But we like it or not, the future, we must just allow this remote working to occur. And we should also come up with modalities or with ways in which we should be able to reach out to these employees that are working remotely so that we cater for their well-being. Dr. Janet, it's something that we can still deliberate upon. It's something that we can still sit and try to project and see the best way forward for our organization as HR professionals. Thank you, Dr. Janet.
Okay, thank you, Sana.
Yeah, this Oppo A53 has been raising his hand.
Okay.
He or she can say something. Oppo A53.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Afternoon.
Yeah, my name is Isa. I just have a question, kind of a concern. It's a problem to me. Currently, my boss is kind of toxic and he doesn't respond to my greetings. He doesn't interact with me socially, and I kind of feel like it's really affecting me in my areas of working. So, how can I deal with such kind of a boss, and what can I do actually?
Sorry for that. Toxic bosses. Okay, let me pick another question, then we'll respond to all the questions that will have been raised for this session. Any other question? I can see a hand.
Yeah, from Elizabeth. There's a hand from Elizabeth Wandeka.
Okay.
Hello. Hello, everyone.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I just wanted to add voice to the issue of remote working. Unfortunately, or fortunately, organizations now, most organizations realize that they're saving a lot of money with employees working away from the workplace. I mean, because of the harsh economic times, there's world recession and all that. So I think it is up to us as HR people, practitioners, it's a challenge really to find out what things can we do to ensure that we have an organization well knit together. How can we monitor the employees? How can we ensure there is job satisfaction and that kind of thing? It's really a challenge to us, but unfortunately or fortunately, that is the way the world is going. There'll be more of remote working, more of flexi hours, because organizations have actually seen the fruit. They have seen the fruit. COVID just brought it out, you know, and they've realized actually they're saving a lot by having employees not at the workplace. You know, take an example of they don't have to have tea for the employees. You know, the small things, you know, toiletries and stuff like that, flowers at the workplace. Oh, they are saving a lot on that, and that is what they are seeing. This is the way to go. So it's a challenge to us HR practitioners to see how best we can knit the workplace together. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Liz. Thank you. Any other concern, addition?
Maybe I have an addition or just an observation also.
Yes.
Is the employee well-being, I was looking at it now from our perspective as practitioners, whereby also if we are not, our well-being is compromised. If we as the head of departments, as the HR practitioners, we do not have that well-being, again, we will not be able to implement it in our organization. So it all begins with us, meaning we have to ensure that our well-being first as individuals is well catered for. We are financially stable, we are socially okay, our health is good. That way, it will make our work easy to help our employees in our organizations.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other concern? No, about this toxic boss. Dr. Janet, Are you still there? Help us understand here. How do we deal with this toxic boss?
That is a very serious issue, and it
Yes.
happened, and it has happened to most of us.
Yes.
But as it has already been pointed out, you cannot give what you do not have.
Mm-hmm.
So as leaders, we must first of all be in that capacity, have the capacity to be role models before we impart the same to our employees. So whatever organization that is, to start with, it needs to do a lot to capacity build its leadership, so that now they can have something that they can pass down to others, so that they are told that when you as leaders, you need to treat your employees well, you need to greet them, you need to make their work as comfortable as possible. The guy has sounded sad, and I think I'm sad for him, by the way. Because I can imagine sitting in an office where your boss is not looking at you, is not greeting you, is not cheerful, is not, until you keep wondering, am I really at the right place? So a lot needs to be done so that that person is made to
Hello?
know.
Dr.
Down.
Janet, we can't hear you. Hello, Dr. Janet.
Yes, yes.
We can't hear. We lost you along the way. Hello.
Get credit. Hello?
Hello?
Hello. Yes, we
Yes.
can hear you now.
Yes. Yeah, so as for the victim, let me call the person a victim of the same. Let them just do what they can, and maybe hope that with time, the person may even learn one or two from the junior and maybe change. But like I've said, some of these forums are good, so that if that boss is listening to what we are saying, then they need to know that they must lead, they must be role models, and they must lead by example. That's what I can say.
Thank you, Doc. Thank you, Doc. And also, yes?
Maybe to come in and support what my mentor and my lecturer have said.
Who is it, please? Can you say your name?
Dr. Oko, George.
Oh, Dr. Oko. Okay, yes.
Yeah, I thank my mentor, Dr. Manyati, and my supervisor for that great insight. But maybe just to add, the boss might not be aware of what is happening. So it is also good and imperative for the colleague who have raised such an issue to have a one-on-one talk with the boss. You open up and also speak your mind. I think that may sound rude, but it may change one or three things. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Oko. Or sometimes you can also have somebody, a mediator. You can get a colleague, you go talk to your boss with that particular colleague and express your sentiments. If, that person is a human by the end of the day, and as Dr. Oko puts it, they may not be knowing that that's what they are doing to you. And if you do not find an agreement, you do not agree, maybe you could be redeployed to a different department and such like a thing. Because now, and we also pray that the boss is on this forum is listening to what we are saying. We have to lead by example. The way Dr. Janet has said, you see, we have to dissociate our personal issues from the people that we are managing. They are human, we are human. They can't be 100%. So how do you want somebody to make a living and yet you are the one causing a lot of trouble to them in their lives? So as I said, we have to leave a legacy. And as bosses, we should also allow ourselves to be corrected sometimes when we are also not doing the correct thing. Okay, I can see the hand of Jared Odindo. Jared, are you there? I can also see Lynn. Hello?
And Daktari, as you proceed,
Yes.
check also on the chat section.
Oh, okay.
There are some comments and questions there also.
Okay, okay.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
Hello.
We can hear you,
Hello?
Jared. Hello, Jared.
May I say something then?
Yes, you can say something, Lynn.
Thank you so much. Okay, what I'd like to help our colleague, you know, sometimes working with a toxic boss is a bit challenging, but from experience, this is what I've seen. One thing I'd like to ask our friend to check on the line of performance. Are you punctual in your workplace? Do you do your work the way you are asked to do? Are you maybe rude to your boss? Or why is he developing an attitude? Find out why this boss is developing an attitude towards you. Because at the end of the day, if your work is perfect, if you are punctual at your place of work, if you are diligent with your duty, I don't think anyone would want to sack you or maybe transfer you for any reason, because I know there are many jobs in Kenya, there are lots of vacancies in Kenya, but at the same time, it depends on what job are you looking for. And at the same time, there is scarcity of jobs depending on some areas of practice. So if you know you're working well, you are employed, you did an interview, you were employed, accordingly, just do your work. Do your work, do it diligently. And as it has been said before, look for a third party. Do you have staff meetings? During those staff meetings, have you tried to express your concerns? And how is the response of the boss towards the same? If the response has been negative, just mind your business, do your work. Some of these bosses are so bad, they will even give you extra work and some funny things to do. Just do it. At the end of the day, anafika mahali anasema, huyu naye hata whatever I do to him, he doesn't seem to be affected. So just do your work. Someone will come noticing and possibly God will just move you from that place. But if you start becoming rude and maybe you show that person that you are more superior than him, possibly by education, there are some bosses, possibly you are more learned than him, or you are more experienced than them, they will feel scared or they'll feel challenged. So don't challenge them, just do your work, and all things will work for you. Thank you.
Thank you, Anne. Thank you for the comment. I can see a hand, Terry. I can see Christine. Any comments?
Yes, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Christine.
On the issue of toxic bosses, I think the first thing is to talk to them. I once worked in a place where the director was very toxic. She used to come to our department and asema, hii department when hakuna kazi mnafanya, mko tu idly just, and she used to use very harsh words on us. So one day she came and she started quarreling, Nini, and I called the managers. Then I told her, the words you use on people is what they become. If you tell her that our manager is not performing and maybe how she is performing, she's going to be that thing. And then she called me to the office. We had a long talk. So nikamwambia, you change the words you use on people. And for sure the director changed. So maybe our colleague, what he needs to do, maybe you have a personal talk with the boss and you tell him this is what is supposed to be done. Ukiingia kwa ofisi, you greet people at their reception. It's manners. It's also leading by example. So I think the first thing is you talk to your bosses. You talk, maybe if you feel that you cannot have the chat with the boss alone, I think it's also good to call a third party who will be there, maybe just because of some personal issues. Thank you.
Thank you, Kristen, for the comment. Thank you. That is also a very good comment. I can see Terry.
Yes, I would like to contribute also on the toxic boss issue. As I've written in the chat, most of the cases, toxic bosses are culture issues, culture where respect amongst the team members is not a thing in the organization. And again, it calls for all culture change. But as everybody else has said, this employee needs to voice out his dissatisfaction, or rather what he doesn't like about the culture of the organization. That also informs on the culture champions of the organization, what they need to attend to and how they can. Because again, keeping quiet and something is not working well in organization doesn't solve any issue. But basically, most of issues of toxicity are culture issues in our organizations. And culture can only, as we all know, culture change only can start from up bottom. And as employees who feel that they are being harassed or they are not happy with the environment, they also need to contribute in culture change. Otherwise, most of the time we are not in control. And I'm saying these are they've been exposed to one sometimes back, and you are not able to control. But the only thing you can do is to take control of your emotional space, guard your emotional space, and take control of yourself, because they are not every time you'll be able to manage or to control the toxicity of the boss or in the organization. And again, it goes to a point where we say there's nothing, toxic environment is not worth our mental breakdown. So if it gets to the worst where you feel like it is holding you back, it is crashing you down, from my side, from your opinion, it's the high time to start looking your way out. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry. That was also very important. Any other comments? Okay, welcome, Madam Carol Nane.
Thank you. I'm so late. I'm so sorry. I was caught up in something.
You're welcome. But I know you know the topic, so you can give us your comments generally.
Oh, the well-being.
Yeah, the well-being.
Hey, you've really caught me off guard, but it is very, very important, especially now. We are going through a lot of issues the salaries are not enough for the way the economy is misbehaving. So if we don't take care of our I'm just taking it off because I've not listened to the presentation. But really, we must be we must be very alert and agile in taking care of our employees, because there are so many things that are coming through over the last 2 to 3 years. The changes that we have noted coming through the organizations, through the communities, through it has really caught us unawares and taken our lives upside down. So I think the well-being, it is a very timely topic. Thank you very much for the people who organized it. Very, very important. I'll be sure to look through it on YouTube. Probably I'll comment there better when after I have listened. But I think it is a very timely topic, because we are undergoing a lot of stress at the workplace at the moment. So there must be some strategies for overcoming this on behalf of for our employees. Very, very important. Thank you, Chair, and everybody else who was instrumental in bringing this very timely topic at this time when everything has gone haywire. Thank you so much.
Hello, thank you so much, Madam Caroline, and you are just on point. It's as if you are with us in this session. Any other comment?
Hello.
Oh, I can see Elizabeth again and Musimbi. Ondeko.
Hello, thank you again. This is Elizabeth. I would just like to say I'm very grateful. This is a very serious and a very timely topic. Realizing that a lot of the suicides that take place of late are as a result of stress at the workplace. And it's important for us as HR practitioners to realize that we are the saving face and the saving grace of many, many, many employees, because employees spend 3/4 of their time at the workplace and like a quarter of the time at home. And so we really need to ensure that we are able to take care of the employees in any given organization. The suicide rates are too high, and we are the ones who can save it. Thank you.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Musimbi, you can say something? Hello, Mr. Musimbi, are you there?
Oh, hello. Thank you. Mr. Musimbi, I want to say thank you very much to Dr. Laura for an excellent presentation. I was just thinking as I was listening and thinking to myself, Dr. Laura is a teacher now. She's had tremendous experience, and now she would want to share the knowledge that she has with others and is now teaching. Question to Dr. Laura, have you taken time to see how best you can give this very same information to county assemblies or county employees or county HR people? Because I think this is an important aspect in terms of production if we are going to have devolution take a center stage and bring development to the people. Are we looking at bringing this kind of training to the counties?
Mr. Musimbi?
Mrs.
Mrs. Sorry. Okay, kindly repeat your question because Dr. Laura's just joined the meeting again. Yes.
She had taken a break. Sorry, thank you. I was asking Dr. Laura, having had the experience and having had now gotten to the point where she would want to share the information that she has by teaching and training, my question was, and looking at the importance of this particular subject, have we thought about the possibility of having specific training at the county level? I believe that if there was well-being with the employees at the county level, devolution would be a much better, have a much better impact in terms of development. Is there a plan to do county level training?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Musimbi. I was attending the meeting through gadgets. I think let me leave on one because I was taking care of the net fluctuation. Now, about the county governments, I have, now getting a consultancy to train in a county government, sometimes it can become very technical, but at least I've done one training at Bungoma County. I think, no, 2 trainings in Bungoma County for the staffs in the county, in the governor's office. And then I did one for the county assembly, and then I did where I trained the executive members. But hello,
we can hear you. We can hear you.
Are you able to hear me?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, I was saying that I've been able to have an opportunity to train the 3 sessions, 2 at the county government of Bungoma and the other one at the county government of Trans Nzoia, and other organizations. We have been able to share this information. And you know how difficult it is sometimes to get a consultancy to be able to share the knowledge that you have with most of the people that are heading this HR docket. But we cannot say that I've given up or all is lost. We are still sharing, because even in class, we still share the same information, and these are the same employees that are working in those organizations that they are also able to share. But today I'm happier because we have a wider scope. We have a wider scope. And even I found somebody asking, now who is supposed to take care of the HR? Now that the HR are supposed to take care of the other people. I think it depends with the organization in which you're working in. And it also depends with your relational skills with the CEO or with the MD. Each person's well-being is supposed to be catered for within an organizational setup. And it's up to you as the HR professional to express the same to the rest of the senior management within the organization. So thank you so much, Ms. Cindy. I really take that as a compliment, and I'm really appreciative. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I don't know if there's any other comment before we close. Any comments?
Hello?
Hello, Gerald, do you have a comment?
Yes, I have a comment, Dr. Thank you very much. This was a very good, and it should continue. IHRM should continue with this. The lady who has just asked about youth training or trainings for staff welfare or the needs in county governments is very, very welcome. You know, in the counties, they have HR departments, but I'm not sure the capabilities of those HR people. I trained an NGO on governance and some HR ethics and staff welfare. And the participants commented and said, this is a very good training that can be extended to the county government because they didn't think they have the knowledge, experience, and skills to handle all the activities that goes on in the county government. So the lady who has just talked that, I'm sure she could have had a similar suggestion from elsewhere. So I concur with her 100%. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gerald. Any other comments before we close?
Lynette?
Yes?
Now, is it possible for this forum to hold more than 100? Because I'm receiving messages that some members were unable, some participants were unable to join because it had reached a limit of 100.
Oh.
Yeah.
I think I'll inquire about that, about the limit. I didn't know the limit is 100.
Yeah, they're just sending me the messages here that we were unable to join because the limit was 100.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that is
maybe
noted for future implementation.
Yeah, for future.
Yeah.
Thank
We
you.
apologize for those members really who have missed and would have wished to join.
Lynette, our VC, thank you very much. Hope you are fine.
I'm fine. So, any other comment maybe before we appreciate the facilitator?
Lynette, there are those asking for a soft copy. I think I need to share with you. You share with me your email address so that I share with you, or I don't know how you get the participants.
No, normally we share through the IHRM because they have members' emails, then they'll share.
And then those who are not members, because I think we have those who are not members.
We have our Western wall. We'll also share it there. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
So I think
maybe Madam Madam Lynette, on the same breath, for those who are not members, it is also high time you welcome them to our forum.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
They've had, and I know they'll soon be members because they are really missing a lot from our sharing of knowledge as members and practitioners. So I think we've come to the end of this session. Thank you so much, Dr. Laura. That was so detailed, so very insightful, informative. And I know we as HR professionals, we've gained a lot of information. Most of the information we could be knowing, but we are really not practicing because of reasons here and there, excuses here and there. But when this training is done over and over again, it's a refresher to us, just to remind us that we as professionals really need to implement this in our organization. So thank you so much, Dr. Laura. We hope that you'll facilitate again in another topic.
Welcome.
As our Western member, and we really, the female gender, we really value our facilitation and we are proud of you. And so
Thank
to
you
my
so
fellow
much.
professionals, thank you for joining. This was the highest membership I've ever seen online. Thank you so much for joining, and we hope to implement whatever we've learned. With those few remarks, I'll welcome any member to close the meeting with a word of prayer. Any volunteer?
I can pray.
Yes, Madam Caroline, you can pray.
All right, thank you, Lord. We want to thank you that we have come to the end of this amazing presentation. We want to thank you for our presenter. We want to thank you also for our leaders in the Western branch, oh God, for what they have done. We want to thank you so much. We thank you for the interaction. We thank you also for the reactions from the members. And we also want to thank you for the information that we are going to get, that we have got. And when it is shared, Father, help us to implement it, because Lord, it is when we implement it that actually the actual training has taken place. We thank you for each member, oh God, and even as we end the week, we want to thank you and bless you. As we go into the weekend, bless each one of us. We also remember our country, that my Father, even as we are in the electioneering period, that Father, you shall make there to be peace in our nation. We thank you, we bless you. In Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you very much.
Enjoy your weekend.
Same, madam.